Welcome to History with Herodotus, where we embark on a journey through the annals of time, uncovering the hidden patterns and profound transformations that have shaped human civilization. Today, we find ourselves at the threshold of a revolution that would forever alter the fabric of our world, the Industrial Revolution. This pivotal moment in history marked a seismic shift from manual labor to machine-based manufacturing, ushering in an era of unprecedented growth, innovation, and social change. In the early 18th century, Europe was still reeling from the aftermath of the Renaissance and the Enlightenment. The scientific discoveries of Isaac Newton and the philosophical musings of thinkers like John Locke had laid the groundwork for a new era of intellectual curiosity and experimentation. The British Isles, in particular, were poised on the cusp of transformation, with its rich deposits of coal and iron ore waiting to be harnessed. In the midst of this intellectual and economic ferment, we find figures like Abraham Darby, a Quaker ironmaster from Gloucestershire, who in 1709 pioneered the use of coke in blast furnaces. This innovative technique allowed for the production of higher quality iron, paving the way for the development of more sophisticated machinery. Meanwhile, in the textile industry, inventors like John Kay and James Hargreaves were experimenting with new devices that would revolutionize the manufacture of cloth. As we make our way through the mid-18th century, we encounter the enigmatic figure of Richard Arkwright, a former barber and wigmaker turned entrepreneur. Arkwright's development of the water frame in the 1760s enabled the mass production of cotton yarn, setting in motion a chain of events that would transform the textile industry forever. The confluence of these innovations, coupled with the availability of cheap labor and abundant natural resources, created a perfect storm that would soon propel Britain to the forefront of industrialization. The years leading up to the Industrial Revolution were also marked by significant advances in transportation and communication. The construction of canals, like the Bridgewater Canal, which opened in 1761, facilitated the movement of goods and raw materials, while the development of more efficient sailing vessels and the expansion of road networks further accelerated the pace of commerce. As the British economy began to stir, the seeds of industrialization were being sown in the fertile soil of innovation and entrepreneurship. One such pivotal moment occurred in 1769, when James Watt patented his steam engine, an innovation that would revolutionize industry and transportation. Watt's design improved upon earlier models by introducing a separate condenser, which increased efficiency and enabled the widespread adoption of steam power in factories and mills. This breakthrough had far-reaching consequences, as it allowed for the mechanization of textile production, facilitated the development of new manufacturing technologies, and paved the way for the construction of locomotives and other steam-powered vehicles. The following year, 1770, saw the establishment of the first factory in the United States, the Slater Mill in Rhode Island, which was modeled after British textile mills. This marked the beginning of American industrialization, as entrepreneurs like Samuel Slater, who had learned the techniques of textile production in Britain, began to replicate these innovations across the Atlantic. Meanwhile, back in Britain, the development of new manufacturing technologies continued apace, with inventors like Edmund Cartwright, who patented the power loom in 1787, further increasing the efficiency and productivity of textile production. As the Industrial Revolution gained momentum, the need for more efficient transportation systems became increasingly pressing. The construction of the first public steam railway, which opened in 1804 between Wandsworth and Croydon in southern England, marked a significant milestone in this regard. This pioneering railway, designed by Richard Trevithick, was powered by a steam locomotive and carried both passengers and freight, demonstrating the potential for steam-powered transportation to transform the movement of goods and people. The success of this early railway sparked a wave of investment in rail infrastructure, with the Liverpool and Manchester Railway, which opened in 1830, becoming one of the first intercity railways in the world. The Industrial Revolution was not without its social and environmental consequences, however. As factories and mills proliferated, thousands of workers were drawn from rural areas to urban centers, leading to the growth of sprawling cities like Manchester and Birmingham. These rapidly expanding metropolises were often characterized by overcrowding, poverty, and poor sanitation, as vividly described by contemporary observers like Friedrich Engels, who wrote, The bourgeoisie has created more massive and colossal productive forces than all preceding generations together. But it has also created the instruments of its own destruction. The environmental impact of industrialization was equally profound, with the burning of fossil fuels and the release of pollutants contributing to air and water pollution on a scale previously unimaginable. As the Industrial Revolution continued to shape the world, the late 19th and early 20th centuries saw significant advancements in technology and industry. The introduction of the Bessemer process in 1855, which allowed for the mass production of steel, revolutionized the construction of railroads, ships, and buildings. This, in turn, facilitated the growth of international trade and globalization as nations became increasingly interconnected through complex networks of transportation and communication. The development of new energy sources, such as electricity and oil, further accelerated industrialization, enabling the widespread adoption of mechanized manufacturing and the rise of consumer culture. As Henry Ford famously observed, "The average man won't really do a day's work unless he is caught and cannot get out of it," highlighting the growing importance of industrial labor and the need for efficient management systems to maximize productivity. The Industrial Revolution ultimately concluded with the transformation of traditional craft-based economies into modern, mechanized societies. The impact of this revolution was profound, shaping not only the economy but also the social and cultural fabric of nations. As the historian Eric Hobsbawm noted, the Industrial Revolution was the most fundamental transformation of human society since the invention of agriculture, underscoring its far-reaching consequences for human history. Today, the Industrial Revolution is remembered as a pivotal moment in modern history, marking the transition from manual labor to machine-based manufacturing and the emergence of new social classes, including the industrial bourgeoisie and the working class. Its legacy can be seen in the continued dominance of industrial production and the ongoing impact of technological innovation on society. The environmental consequences of industrialization, however, remain a pressing concern as the world grapples with the challenges of climate change, pollution, and sustainable development. The Industrial Revolution's influence extends beyond the economic sphere, shaping art, literature, and culture in profound ways. As the poet William Blake wrote, "These dark, satanic mills," a reference to the polluting factories of the Industrial Revolution, highlighting the tension between technological advancement and human well-being. That's all for today's History with Herodotus. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and until next time, remember that to understand the present, we must first understand the past.